Hey guys, this is John. Alright, so something a bit different this video. As you know, I've been working a lot on my time management, and I've done this in the past, but I'm going to try to use some Blitz games in order to force myself to move fast. So not worrying about the result of the game so much, or even the quality of the moves in certain cases, but just trying to get myself playing at a consistent pace. And I don't know how much value this has crossing over into over-the-board chess, longer time control games, but I think it's worth a shot, and it may be a good way to just try to get myself in a flow as far as playing moves consistently. So I'm going to play some 3-minute games. Let me jump in the pool here. Obviously 3-minute is a pretty fast time control. I would do 5-minute, but I have something I got to do in about an hour, so not a whole lot of time to make this video and then post it. So 3-minute it is. And at 3 minutes, assuming like an average of 40 moves per game, I have to make a move every 4 to 5 seconds. Okay, so let's say when I look back through the moves, I'd like to see many of my moves, if not all of them, that would be ideal, in like the 0 to 5 second range per move. You know, I don't think I'm going to live up to that, but I'm going to try. Okay, so Grandmaster Sauerkraut is the first one. We're going to keep it as simple as possible. All right, just a4. Let's just stop his business with b5. Transposition likely into a snake Benoni, I guess. Okay. I'm try to put the bishop on g5. This is also going to be tough, of course, time management-wise, talking about my strategy as I play, but we'll see what happens. Okay, let's play bishop e2. I might try to occupy d5 at some point in the future. I'm hoping this bishop on c7 is out of play. See where he commits that knight. I think he'll go to d7, but I hope he goes to c6 so I can play knight e4. He's not going to commit it yet. I like my position. There's a hole on b4, but he has a weak pawn on d6. My pieces occupy good squares, so it looks decent. Okay, let's go here. I'm just going to prep knight d5. I don't want to have a weak d-pawn when I eventually play that move. Okay, let's do it now. I'll take with his bishop. And queen e4, okay. Is there a threat there? I don't think so yet, so I think I'm just going to play this, just to give my bishop a retreat square. Bishop g3, it can always go back to h2. Stopping the b5 break, d5 is covered. Looks fine. Okay, let's play a5, anticipating a b-pawn break. Maybe I can swing a rook up to a4, like b3, rook a4, kick his queen out. Yeah, I actually like that idea, so I'm going to go for it. b3 is a nice stabilizing move as well. Okay. This queen's already in an awkward position. Queen g6, is that what he has to play? Then I have rook g4, maybe followed by bishop d3. I have a feeling he missed rook a4. Okay. Yeah, let's do that, just to force him to play an awkward move. And I think... I'm just going to make a waiting move right now. It seems hard for him to move. So I'm going to get my bishop out of the way. Let's go here. Look for g5. Okay, I got my rook a little wrong-footed here, but still, of course, playable. Let's take. Gonna go here, try to pressure f7. Maybe queen a5 coming up. Okay, he's hitting that. Let's go here. Just trying to stabilize. Looks like I can try to crash through on f7 at some point. Don't know when that'll be, but let's go here. Okay. Let's push through in the center. He's definitely playing faster now. Can't take because of knight f4. Let's swing this guy over. Can take here. But I think after f3, perhaps, his position is a little weird looking. This rook is an awkward square. So I'm just stopping rook g4. I want to play rook takes a5 next. Okay. Let's take this guy. Take here. Okay, so I have a big time advantage now. I'll try to use it. Go after this d6 pawn. Oh, just blundered that. Okay, that's not good. But not all is lost yet. Whoa, what is that move? That is a weird move. Oh, I could have played rook takes g6. Rook takes g6 was much better. Okay, let's get our king in. Maybe I can swindle him somehow. Check. Ooh, he might be losing now. Rook check is a threat. Let's check. Get this behind. Ooh. Can't win if I play that. I gotta go here. Unfortunately. Okay, this is a draw, so I'll just give it to him. All right, so I didn't win that game, but I don't recall the last time that I played a Blitz game where I managed to have that amount of time left in a 67-move game, let alone a 3-minute game. So I'm happy with the result of that. In hindsight, maybe I should have slowed down. Well, I wish I would have seen rook g3 check winning my knight, but in hindsight, I probably should have slowed down right here, because then I would have seen rook takes g6 followed by rook takes g3 with a win. I'm just up 2 connected pawns. But all right, even accepting that, it was a good effort against a strong opponent. This guy's always tough in Blitz. So let's get back in there. I'm going to play a few more games, and at the end of these games, I'm going to go back and look at the move times. ICC enables you to do that. You can see how much time you spent per move. So I'm going to take advantage of that. I wonder if I had a win in the rook end game. I don't think so. I think he has enough to draw there, but it's possible I had a win. All right, playing Garam pawn. Another GM. Let's see what he's up to. Okay, I'm just going to go for the fianchetto. Usually they end up playing d4. Okay, let's do this. Can I take here? Don't see a refutation, so I'm going to go for it. Probably take and check. Queen d5. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but I'm just going to go here. Just back this up. Yeah, and all of a sudden I'm up in exchange. Might swing my rook up to c5. I'm considering that. Let's play queen here. You can try to get his queen into h6, but that shouldn't bug me too much. Let's bother him with an exchange. Go here. Yeah, I think clearly he has to play kind of quick now to compensate for the bad position. Okay, now I might be forcing the queens off. Queen f3, I have queen e4, which is a nice move. Get those queens off by force. Try to kill his counterplay. I'm up material, so want to trade pieces. If he takes, I'm just going to take back. No rush, because he doesn't have the g4 square available. E6 looks kosher. Let's do it. Try to get this trade going. Also, d5 is in the air. Yeah, I think I'm just going to punch through in the center. d5. You know, this pawn's an annoyance in the long run, but it shouldn't be too much. Okay, take. Let's play here. I'm going to kick that knight away. Maybe I can just go knight g4 and take on h6. Yeah, this looks awesome. I'm just going to do that plan, because I don't see how he defends. I could try moving my pawns, but there's no rush. Let's go here. I think he wants knight e4, so might as well take that away. Then after take, I can put my knight on f7 and trade that way. There's also b5. I can think about playing b5. Okay, we'll take that. Can take here because knight d3 is a threat. And that's going to win everything. Okay. I have a feeling he slipped when he played queen d5. He probably meant to check on d4 because queen d5 doesn't make any sense when I can easily defend the b pawn. But still, made a firm decision in the opening. Looked to me like he just blundered material with b3. Knight takes e4. Typical shot with the bishop on g7. And that worked out excellently. Okay, let's play another one. Heltmat. GM Heltmat. Strong rating. Let's see what Heltmat is up to in this very topical line. I'm going to bait him into taking this pawn if he wants to. Certainly a viable option for black. Okay, this line is a bit tricky. Let's go here. I think I'm going to do this just to protect this and maybe enable queen c2 or queen d3 at some stage. Let's go here first. Maybe he can play f6, but he has to calculate what happens if, like, queen h5. Actually, queen h5 looks pretty good there. So I'm down a pawn, but I should be getting some nice play. Let's go here, threaten mate. You see he's very weak on the dark squares, just bishop coming in. But he has queen back to f8. It's a good defense. Let's go here. Obviously, I don't want to trade queens. Now he's planning rook c4. But I think I have to play this move, almost regardless. Okay, let's go here. See some ideas with bishop takes h7 maybe in the future. I want to trade off this knight. That knight is inhibiting my attack. Okay, we'll just take. E6 looks logical, but I think I'm just going to play bishop f6. So I'm down a pawn, but his king is much weaker than mine. I'm hoping that the pawn, therefore, just doesn't play. Let's get rid of our back rank problem. Rook g4 is an interesting move right now. I'm going to try it. So looking for queen takes h5. If rook c1, I think I can just play queen takes h5 directly. It's a big threat. Yeah, queen takes h5, and how does he stop mate? I think that's just GG. Queen h8 coming. Okay, yeah, and he resigned. All right, well, this is going well so far. I honestly was not expecting this, because just always in the back of your head, there's this feeling that your moves, the quality of your moves is degrading when you lose, when you don't use as much time as normal. They're just worse than what you'd usually play. But I think what we're seeing here is when you're putting pressure on your opponent like that, and this sounds obvious to those of you who play fast, but that's not really me. I've never been like this in my chess career, where I'm the one consistently putting pressure on the clock. But when you do that, your opponents are likely to make mistakes. So mean, even if objectively black can defend this somehow, the fact that I'm attacking and I'm playing at an even pace and not ever falling hugely behind on the clock, like 30 seconds or a minute, as I usually do in these 3-minute games, that adds up. Okay, let's play one more game. I like this pawn sacrifice, especially for Blitz. Maybe he should have played the direct rook c4 right here. I think rook c7 was unnecessary if he's going to play rook c4 in a few moves anyways. So I'm not sure why he didn't do that, but on rook c4 I was going to play probably rook e4, so that if black trades I can take with the bishop. Although then he has knight c3, so yeah, I think rook c4 was a better shot here. It's risky for black to grab this c3 pawn. As you can see, he falls behind in development. So going to play one more anti-time trouble game and then call this a session. Yeah, I think eliminating this knight on d5 is key to the attack, because then I can play bishop h6 whenever I want without fear of it getting traded off. Notice also that I'm controlling the c1 square with the bishop on g5, so that's very helpful. So when I play rook d4, I don't have to worry about rook c1 with back rank issues. I did play h3 later on, but that's because, yeah, at this stage, I feel like my attack requires my king to be safe. Because now, with my bishop no longer on g5, having moved it to f6, rook c1 could be a thing, or some piece appearing on the back rank. Probably had something better even here. Maybe queen b4, let's say. Queen b4 hitting the rook on e1 and the rook on d4. Require me to play rook d1. Although then he can trade twice on d4, and there's that back rank issue. Okay, Gomez is the final opponent. Sticking with d4. I'm just going to play an easy system, g3, bishop g2, against the King's Indian. You can play a lot of quick moves here. Yeah, this line is popular. I'm going to play e3. This is a bit restrained. And honestly, not a great move, I think. In fact, this looks pretty cowardly, but it's the first thing that came to mind, so I'm going to play it. And make him think about what to do against my suboptimal opening moves. So let's get these guys back in the game. I think I'm just going to play knight f3 again. So I've wasted some tempi getting these knights back onto decent squares, but so be it. Bishop f4. Now I hit this pawn with tempo. Let's take. I'm thinking maybe, yeah, in the event of a trade, I wonder if his back rank is a bit of an issue, because his bishop on c8 is buried. I think this knight is going to move soon. Maybe I can play knight e5. So let's pre-move this capture. I might bring the rook into c7. Yeah, in fact, that looks pretty strong. Let's do it. Or e7, rather. Possibly going to c7. Because I want to stop this bishop from smoothly developing, so let's make him think about the b7 pawn. Okay, I do get kicked out here, but now, depending upon where his bishop goes, he might have trouble with d5. Yeah, like, let's say this move. He might have to agree to let me take his light square bishop. That should be something. That's an edge. If he plays rook c8, I can swap and take on d5, win a pawn. Okay, let's take here. Don't think I want to trade the bishops, because I want to go like bishop h3 and pressure him later. So I think my next moves will probably be h4, bishop h3. We play with the idea of h5 later. Okay, he's being a nuisance. Let's just do this. Maybe this and then h5. I like that plan. Create some weaknesses. Long-term weaknesses in his camp. Okay, I guess I'll make this trade. Let's take. It's kind of a tough pawn to defend. He's just going to let me take it. Wow. Ah, that's his idea. Okay. Fair enough, but I have this check to start. Okay, here I kind of want to spend some time. So I feel like this is an important position. And I have the luxury of doing that, being able to spend time. Okay, I'm just going to take and push this pawn. So I think just the threat of bishop e5 later should be significant. Ah, he's going to come up that way. That I didn't see. Missed that. King d3. Okay, but maybe I can still play this. If he takes bishop h6. Ah. That was not smart, John. All right, let's go here. Okay, we'll do this. Definitely messing up a bit here. Push this pawn. Yeah, this is not good. Made a hash of this. All right, try to get my king active somehow. Yeah, he can just try to get an outside pass pawn, which I think he's gonna do. All right, let's try this. Okay, because now bishop e5. Bishop e5. Did he blunder? I think he did. Now I believe he has to take, and then we're going to queen at the same time. But I have queen takes d5 at the end. Should be winning. This king is in a very awkward position. Queen here, king here. I can play queen d4. That's winning. Let's just push. Can check me around forever. But this is a tough position to play in time pressure. Very tough for him. And in fact, I think just winning. All right, so I finished that game with 9.6 seconds. Messed up the bishop endgame where I was up a pawn. I just missed this route that he took with his king. King c4, king d3. I only considered in this position after g6, bishop takes d4. So that was rather straight line thinking. So obviously I'm not going to claim that my level nor anyone's level is going to be the same if you're playing like an anti-time trouble blitz game versus a normal blitz game, but in this session, at least, my results were quite good. So maybe that should tell me something about the nature of playing fast and putting pressure on your opponents. So the final aspect of this, let's go back into my archive. You guys can see this. So these are the 4 games that I played. So I scored 3.5 out of 4. Let's check that first game against Sauerkraut. So I was saying that my target was to play my moves in 0 to 5 seconds each move. And let's see how I did in this first game. I had a big time advantage, I think almost a minute or so in this one towards the middle game. And then he started playing quicker and things turned around. But if we see, these are the move times for me as white. Can you guys see that? Let me move this over a little bit. Yeah, so, okay, Finns versus Sauerkraut. Okay, so I spent 4 seconds on one move in the opening, 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there. 9 seconds on bishop c2, so that's a little long, but you can see for the most part, I was close to or hitting my goal. Yeah, 6, 7 seconds here, 8 seconds. I don't mind so much the 5+ seconds being used later in the game or on especially critical moments, but I'm really trying to avoid this stuff within the first, 20 moves or so, where I'm just thinking for 20, 30 seconds. So this one looks pretty good. I don't see any move where I spent more than 10 seconds. That's new to me in a GM, a Blitz game against a GM. Yeah, so no move where I spent more than probably 9 seconds. I think this is the longest move right here, 22, bishop c2. So I give myself good marks for that one. Let's see the game against Garampon. It's the PGN. So to do this in Blitzen on ICC, Blitzen is the interface I'm using. You do S moves. Okay, so here I'm black. Yeah, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 5. Yeah, 1, 1, 0, 4, 4, 2, 5, 6. Again, no move longer than 10 seconds. Yeah, this one was great because I won material early on, and it was mostly a conversion process thereafter. So that also looked real good. Helt met. Okay, white again in this one. 0. And then 1 straight down to move 8. 0, 2, 1, 2, 4, 7, 5. Yep, looking good. 5. Even when it got sharper later, I spent 9 seconds on bishop f6. At that point, I had a good attack. I would say full compensation for the pawn, or close to. Maybe he could have played that queen b4 move I was talking about at that moment. But yeah, again, good. And at the end, he couldn't stop queen h8 checkmate. And then the final game against Gomez, I did slow down later in this game after I realized I had made a mistake. I was messing up the bishop endgame, so this one wasn't perfect, but I did manage to get that position with the 2 bishops against the bishop and knight where I was just naggingly better. So 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 3, 3, yep, 4, 2, 2. So this one looks good all the way down to the end game. Okay, here, bishop takes b5, yeah, 19 seconds. 18 seconds on bishop f4. But you know what? Not to make excuses for this, given my goal, but the fact that I could afford to spend that time and I still didn't have to try to checkmate him with like 1 second on my clock at the end, that's a testament to moving faster at the outset of the game. So this was a successful experiment with anti-time trouble blitz. And I think I'll do this again. I might even bump up the time control to 5 minute. So if I do 5 minute, what would that be? Assuming an average of 40 moves per game, that would be 7.5 seconds per move on average. So let's say I'll be trying to move in 7 to 8 seconds tops. Probably there, my upper bound should be no more than, 15 to 20 seconds per move. Let's say 20 seconds. So look for that. I'll try that again soon in the coming days. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed this little experiment and the games, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.